You're very welcome along to another episode of the Filum Show. I'm Mike Sheridan and I'm joined by Dee Malumbi and Brian Lloyd. There's going to be a I want to say highlight reel, but it's not. There's going to be a montage of me going, hey, you're very welcome, just saying the exact same thing in the exact same cadence every week.
Do you remember when we did the 100th episode?
I was just thinking of that. Yeah.
And you know what I noticed as well, right? You would do that. I would cross my legs, and then you just kind of like do that. We did it in every single one.
Yeah, I would adjust.
You'd adjust, and then I'd like put.
We all went to our safe place.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah. What are we like?
Safe place mentally, you know.
Yeah, I know, crazy.
Do you remember the old movie show? It was no film show. I tell you that much. It was no film
That's
show.
damn right. It was no film show at all.
Okay, we have a jam-packed show this week. There's a lot out, and there's a lot of really good stuff out this week as well. You caught up with the guys, Sam Claflin. You're a big Sam Claflin fan. So that will be on the YouTube channel as well and on entertainment.ie, and we're going to talk Adrift. Brian, you saw the Sicario sequel, which I'm very jealous about. You left yesterday, Bright the film, and I couldn't go. I was like, where's Brian going? You were like, Sicario. I was like, really wanted to go.
It was right around the corner as well. That nenever happens.
Yeah. And we might passively mention Tag, which Dee saw last night.
Yeah, I saw it last night.
Sure, look, but first and foremost, we've alluded to this one for a couple of weeks because I saw a very early screening of it, and then Dee saw it, and Brian actually got along to it.
I did.
Only got along to it because you had to review for Ireland AM. However,
I was waiting for that dig.
So my favourite film of the year. It really is. And I mean, look, we're at the halfway point of the year now. At this point last year, there's only been John Wick 2 to be one of my favourite films of the year before A Ghost Story and Wind River came along, right? I want to know what you guys think of this first before I launch into my love fest about it.
Sure.
Because I really did dig it. That quote is me that they're pushing absolutely everywhere, which is fair enough because I meant it. So
true, yeah.
Okay, Brian. So I saw you review this one on Ireland AM this morning. I obviously reviewed it for the site. You really liked this.
I did like it.
You had issues with it.
I had issues with it. Okay, and we were talking about this off air, and I know, and then you were kind of countered me on this, and I'll admit that Okay, right. So basically, the problem that I had with this, and I say it's a problem, it's not really a problem, but it was something that I kind of was like, was, I guess, the lyricism that there is in the dialogue, you know, that sort of way, that kind of Emmet Kirwan does that kind of rhyming kind of stream of consciousness, slam poetry, I don't know, whatever you call it, but that thing that he does. And it happened a couple of times where his on-screen brother, played by Ian Lynn Anderson, who was brilliant, by the way, amazing. He did a bit of it as well, and it was kind of like, I don't know if anyone would really say that out loud, would they? You know, and then you were saying that no, of course, whether you are addicted to heroin or not, that doesn't really matter. Of course, if you're,
it's not like.
It doesn't rob you of any kind of
articulation or intellect that you have.
Exactly.
You know, you're a drug addict. It doesn't mean. Yeah. So that was an issue for you, or that?
Not an issue. It's just I was like, that doesn't really sound right. But then, of course, as you said, that's just me being an idiot. That's not me. That's me being uneducated or being completely unaware as to that aspect of it. You know. But no. But I mean, another part of it as well, I thought, was the fact that I know people are comparing it to Trainspotting. But I think
that's a lazy.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's a lazy comparison because.
And look, I've made plenty of lazy comparisons. I'm not getting anybody. In particular.
I do think Trainspotting is a lazy comparison because, I feel that Trainspotting had, and I don't mean this is not to detract from what the director Dave Tynan did, but Trainspotting had a real kind of visual sensibility. You know, that sort of way. You could see that Danny Boyle really wanted to make the drug experience into a visual kind of, language, that kind of way, as in where you've seen the baby crawling up the wall and that kind of stuff. There was nothing like that in Dublin Oldschool.
Trainspotting is just a grimmer film. Dublin Oldschool is, and I want to go to the end of this as well. Dublin Oldschool, it's more of a comedy, dude.
Yeah.
It really is.
That's what's kind of
Black
interesting
comedy,
about
I would
it.
say.
Yeah. I thought it was, I really liked it.
Yeah, I
and
did
just to counter, I suppose, what you were saying about the lyrical stuff. You have to remember that it was based on a play.
Of course,
and my understanding is the original, script for the play and everything, well, it did incorporate a lot more of that kind of lyrical and kind of poetic language and everything. So I thought I haven't seen the play, but I have an understanding of the play that it's pretty much completely centered around the two brothers instead. So I thought that it did quite well to bring that story and that script to a film experience. You know what I mean? In terms of expanding this world of the, two brothers. And obviously we kind of follow Emmet Kirwan's character really primarily we only see the brothers when they're together. But I thought all those scenes with his friends and when they're taking the drugs and when they're in the houses and just going from house party to house party, I just thought that they were really good crack and really funny. And there were some like really, really kind of gorgeous cinematography moments.
Yeah.
I thought all the acting in it was great. Sienna Kerslake, we were both saying, was really a standout.
Is it not Shauna?
Shauna.
Oh, it is Shauna. Oh,
like
sorry.
it's in like Shauna, but like it's spelled SEA and...
Apparently, yeah. Shauna Kerslake.
Shauna Kerslake.
Great actress.
Yeah. So I loved her in it. And yeah, I don't know. I find it fun. Like, I understand that people have kind of an issue with the fact that it doesn't really have a story. It's just kind of these like kids
vignettes
going around partying and these kind of just little like moments and them trying to kind of make a social connection, trying to make a romantic connection, trying to find this kind of state of euphoria. Like, if there's any film to compare it with, I'd probably say Adam and Paul is kind of the most immediate one. And I have seen it compared to Adam and Paul. And I wouldn't see that as necessarily a lazy comparison. I mean, they're both kind of, both films essentially follow characters who are wandering around Dublin trying to get their next high, and then when they do, there is that just kind of moment of total like euphoria and bliss and everything.
But the core story here is Emmet Kirwan and Ian Lloyd Anderson. That's the core story. These two brothers, and I have seen the play. I had the opportunity to see the play a couple of years ago. A friend of mine is a casting director and used to go and see plays and stuff like that all the time. She worked on a TV series, and some of them you would just like. You know, I'm not saying I'm not a theatre guy. I've been to a lot of plays specifically for that reason. I would tag along. Yeah. And some plays, like, acting's generally great, but some are better than others. And you kind of get a feeling for what works and what doesn't work. And I was blown away by Dublin Oldschool because it's like you said, Dee, it is just the two guys on stage. And Ian Lloyd Anderson in particular plays about 20 roles. He plays everybody. So when I spoke to him for The Delve, spoke to the two guys for The Delve, like kind of talking to Ian about acting opposite people who he's played their role, he's said their lines, and obviously they've changed it up for the script, and Kirwan co-wrote the script as well. I absolutely loved it. I found it genuinely exhilarating watching it because, and you mentioned Adam and Paul there, and Adam and Paul, I mean, was kind of a comedy, but not really as well. There was a real tragic.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was definitely a much
it's a different film, but I totally get the comparisons. I just know a lot of guys like this, you know, and I haven't seen these type of characters portrayed in this way on screen ever, and like nobody's really kind of talking about that these, I mean, it's, you know, when I spoke to Emmet Kirwan and Ian Anderson about it, they were like, yeah, look, this is, you know, we're all from Tallaght. Well, I know Ian isn't, but Sean and Emmet are from Tallaght, and I think some of the guys behind the scenes are from Tallaght. You don't get to see that. You don't get to see these type of people make feature-length films or these type of characters be portrayed. And you kind of mentioned there about some of the slam poetry stuff that, yeah, like Emmet Kirwan is a guy who's from Tallaght who, you know, is incredibly articulate, and who I compare generally to Donald Glover. I definitely see comparisons there to Donald Glover. And it's that, like, you know, it's good for people to see that like, look, there are areas of Dublin, and I'm from one of them as well. I'm from Coolock, and I get the piss taken out of me all the time for how I talk, by Brian Lloyd in particular. But like, you know, like, you know,
well, I can't talk. Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, you're from just inside the Pale, just on the outskirts of the Pale. But I mean, like that's something that I find that people aren't really mentioning at all, and that's probably because I think for the most part reviews have been incredibly strong, and people are engrossed in the story. This beautiful core story about these two estranged brothers who kind of bump into each other over Bank Holiday weekend in Dublin. And performance-wise, the two lads, like the two main lads, Emmet and Ian, are phenomenal. They have this down pat. They just are as good as you would expect them to be, and I can't give any higher praise than that. I found Ian's performance really touching as well, and it was great to see him zone in on one character, because when I'd seen him in the play, he blew me away because he was playing so many. So to zone in on one character and to do that so well was just like, it was really satisfying to see, and to see this type of film, Irish film, but just a great film made really well. Sorry, go on.
Oh no, I was just going to agree with you. Like, it's so authentic and genuine. You know.
In fact, it's so authentic and genuine, right? And this is, I have to bring this up because I know what I'm going to say.
Brian's going to go for one of his private jokes here.
No. There was a scene in it, the really horrible scene where he meets the...
Don't tell people where you live, Brian.
No, not where I live, but where the old entertainment.ie office was.
Oh, yeah.
But he meets the guy and he goes, he's over in the park. That's our street. That was like that horrible...
He literally walked past the old entertainment.ie.
They literally...
Because Brian was like, there's a shot of Brian's house, and I was like, don't tell people where you live.
I'm not telling you.
Some DC fans are going to turn up with knives. We know what they think of you. Shauna Kerslake as well. I am a huge fan of. I think she's
She's
an
amazing,
incredible actor, and I think she's going to be a superstar if she chooses to be, or she's going to be huge on stage if she chooses to be. She's magnetic on screen, and I didn't know where she was from. Her accent is that good, and everything I've seen her do. She's from Tallaght as well, apparently. Like the lads told me that, and I was like, Jesus, she could have been from anywhere. You know, and she's incredible. She's beautiful. She's got movie star written all over her, and she's magnetic on screen. So Filum blew me away. And one thing that not a lot of people are talking about here is Dave Tynan's work as a director. So more often than not, when there's not a huge budget involved, movies can look flat or TV shows can look flat. And I've seen a couple of TV shows recently where the scripts weren't bad and the acting wasn't bad, but they were just shot in a very basic point and shoot way. And look, I've never made a TV show, so I can only imagine the difficulties that go into it. But from purely a punter's perspective, from a fan's perspective, from somebody who enjoys consuming this type of stuff, Dave Tynan did an incredible job in bringing Dublin to life.
Yeah, because this is it. Like, I mean, you really do. And, you know, I this is what I was saying before, was that, like, you see parts of the city that you know, and it feels real, and it feels like it's just as much a part of the script and the scene and the whatever as Ian and Emmet, like, you know, that kind of way. Like, you really do kind of get the sense that, like, you know, I always thought it was interesting that every scene kind of began with Emmet Kirwan locking up his bike. You know, that kind of way, that it gives you that sense of, like, he's moved around the city and now he's here and he's locking it up and he's doing that. And it gives you that kind of sense of that he's just moving around town, like, you know, that sort of way. And that's literally what the story is, him moving around town, going from party to party, trying to get, you know, whatever. And you felt that kind of sense of, like, he's doing laps of the place, like, and it was really cool, like.
Yeah, it's so, like, full of kind of energy and life and vibrant that even though not much actually happens story-wise, you kind of go along with it because you feel that sense of energy, that sense of, like, kineticism.
Kineticism, yeah.
But it's like, there was a whole point, I think, in the 90s with American independent cinema where there was a lot of movies like Richard Linklater movies, Swingers is one, Kevin Smith is one, where there was movies that weren't particularly about anything.
Yeah, hangout movies.
But just had these brilliant characters going on this journey over the course of a short period of time. And those filmmakers like Linklater, even Robert Rodriguez to a certain extent, obviously with more down the action spectrum, just, you know, became superstars off the back of these films, and kind of these films have lived on. Like, and I've said it a million times, Swingers is probably my favourite movie ever. It's not really about anything.
Yeah.
It's about a group of people that kind of going out on the pool and having a few drinks and having a laugh, like, you know. And it's
the same with Dazed and Confused.
Exactly.
And, like, everybody wants them. Like.
Everybody Wants Them is another one of those.
There's no plot.
Plot, but it's just if you engage with the characters, and not everybody will, but if you engage with these characters, you'll be enthralled by it. And Dublin Oldschool, I was enthralled by.
Yeah.
So 5 stars from me. 4 stars from you two. You guys were saying kind of 4. So you said on TV this morning 4.
I would have given it 4. Yeah.
What would you have given it to?
Ooh, now I'm on the spot. See, I haven't seen it in so long now. I'll give it 4.5 to be on the safe side.
That was a nice happy spectrum.
Yeah, nice kind of sliding scale.
I think universally positive anyway. I really like. You kind of see this stuff all the time. We like support Irish film, and I agree with that. I think that's particularly for stuff like Michael Inside as well, which another film that Irish one that blew me away earlier in the year. But outside of that,
our top movie of the year so far. Actually.
Yeah, so Frank tweeted me. Frank Berry was delighted with it. Brian did a great interview with him as well. Go back and look for that. But just good films, just great films. Just hope it travels. I want to see everybody involved with this film creatively. On in the cast, do well, get opportunities off the back of it because they deserve it. Definitely. Okay, let's move on. Do we want to talk about Tag briefly, Dee? Do you want to? Because
good luck.
Because you went to the premiere last night, and Dee was giving out to me because I
wasn't giving out.
Well, you were. Well, you had some things to say off camera, off air. Where I kind of, I'm not the boss anymore, but like I was like, do you do social media for this because you're at the premiere? And he was like, damn it, goddamn you.
Now I have to, because Mike was running out the door. And I was saying a friendly hello to you before you left, and then you were like,
do stuff,
yeah. Basically,
and then you kept texting me as well. I was like, are you at this show? I was like, no. Like,
because you were on a series of mails where we were invited to this and we were going to be working at the premiere.
I did not read any of those.
Brian does not fact check himself either, or just do post. Maybe you need to start doing post-its for yourself.
I didn't know anything about it. I didn't even know that we had to work at this thing. I didn't know. Like, sorry, like
I didn't know. Just there for the crack.
Oh, well, I was just there for the crack, and then I had to work.
Yeah. So I did the thing for the after party. We did the screening with Nova and Warner Bros. And I did the thing for the after party. And he came over to me after and was like, tough gig, man.
Wait, what?
I was actually, you didn't realize this, but I was actually totally messing because all you had to do was say like one thing on a mic and then leave. Yeah. So I was kind of ripping the like, no, we're trying not to curse. Yeah. That like, you know, oh, it's so hard. You had so much work to do.
But it was like, but nobody could hear me. Nobody could hear me. And the first thing I did was insult everybody. I was like, it's the hottest day, one of the hottest days of the year, and you all just went to see a film. They're standing in a warehouse.
Didn't catch a word of that, man.
See,
it was just like
gold.
I hate getting stung for those things. Yeah. Like, I hate it. I just like avoid any kind of like, no, I'm not answering any of those emails. You come over and you say it to my face if you want me to do something.
Or leave it posted, as I do.
Or leave it posted, as you do. Yeah, no, I hate doing that crap.
But in fairness, the night was quite successful. I mean, basically they had all these games set out, and they had pizza and drinks and stuff, and everyone was just like playing the games. It wasn't like you had to kind of encourage anyone to. Everyone was just going around and playing them. There was like a Connect 4, there was a giant Jenga, there was that one with the balls and the sticks, and then there was a bowling board, and then there was beer pong, except without the beer, because that would have been a mess. So what are you mouthing?
But no, was it snooker, like, or was it like the balls with the sticks? I was trying to figure out what the balls
Brian
with the
and producer Dave were having a moment while he was talking there.
It's called Jungle something, and basically it's in this, there's like this tall plastic tube, and there are all these balls inside, and they're balanced on all these sticks at different angles, and you have to pull out the stick. Yeah, producer Dave knows what I'm talking about.
Kerplunk.
I know Kerplunk. Just say Kerplunk.
God bless producer Dave for fact checking us.
It said on the side like Jungle Fever or something. Maybe that was the brand. I don't know.
But the party looked like really good crack.
Yeah, it was fun.
And it was great to catch up with Nick and Jill from Warners as well. Those guys are cool. But the Filum D,
it was grand. Yeah. It was grand. I mean, like, I had really low expectations because Gavin Burke actually reviewed this for our site, and he gave it 2 stars. So I was like, ooh. But when I went to it, look, it's a bit of fun. Like, it's grand. Although the ending is a bit sad because there's like this. I shouldn't say that.
Don't give it away.
Yeah. Now people will be looking out to see, but I'll just say it's a bit of a downer. It's kind of like, oh, really? Okay.
It's one of those. It's a true story, isn't it? So
it's based on a true story. It's based on a Wall Street Journal article, and what they do at the end, which is kind of cute, they show like the videos that the original guys who played it like took, because there was about 10 of them who originally did it, and like they did actually full on like dress up and do disguises and stuff so that they could sneak on up on one another and tag them. Like, it's so funny.
That's called commitment to a bit.
Yeah.
That really is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Brian, we were very excited about this one, right? Because we all loved the original. Well, I loved the original. He's looking at me like, did I love the original Sicario?
You know what my experience of it was? I had such high expectations that when I saw it, I was like, it's good. Is it like best film of the year good? I don't know. It was still, it's a really good movie. It's good.
So I saw you and Mark Cagney waxing lyrical about young Tyler Sheridan.
Taylor Sheridan.
Whatever, Brian. Waxing lyrical about how much of a fan you are and how great he is and stuff like that. Bonding, Brian, bonding. Actually, can we get a picture we had of Brian on Ireland AM there this morning? You're wearing sunglasses on TV.
All right, hang on a
sec.
You
are Bono?
No, right, in fairness, I was like,
the sun was in my eyes.
The sun, like, no, genuinely, seriously, right? Okay, they had it out the back of TV3, right? So like they had
the Glam Life and Ballymountain.
Like I could hear trucks going by as I was doing the thing. Like it was, but like. They like, to be fair, like they told me beforehand, look, listen, we're doing your segment outside. I was like, oh God. I was like, right, okay. And they said, so just wear something nice and kind of like, summery kind of thing. I was like, well, I'm not wearing shorts because I'm just not.
But you're wearing shorts now.
Because I'm in the office and this is work.
Look at those legs. Look at those legs. Spot, Brian. Good for you, man.
Anyways, but yeah, I came in and they sat me down and the sun was literally right in my eyes. So I had to wear the sunglasses, okay? It wasn't to be a dickhead. I know I cursed. I'm sorry.
Because my mum was watching it this morning, I had to go out to a meeting and I actually made a taxi wait. Let him turn the meter on and everything so I could finish watching Brian Slot with Mark Cagney. What are people sat in that seat? Did not wear sunglasses. By however. You just wanted to look cool on TV, Brian.
No, I
That's
didn't.
Fine.
No,
That's fine.
I didn't. I did it because the sun was right in my eyes.
Yeah.
He's a delicate creature.
You are a delicate creature. You look like a dictator in like the Middle East somewhere. Or
I'm okay with that. Do you know that? I'll take that over Arlene Foster any day of the week.
Well, Arlene Foster would be a dictator in the Middle East.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Okay, so you talked about Sicario.
Yes.
And Dee was kind of saying, yeah, I know what you mean, though. Expectations can be a bit too lofty.
I want to go back and watch it before I see the sequel now, so it's fresh in my mind.
I loved it. Then even love Taylor Sheridan. Just loved it. And I loved everything Taylor Sheridan has done. I'm looking forward to seeing that show, the Kevin Costner show.
Yellowstone.
Yellowstone. Okay, so it's a different director this time, Brian. Denis Villeneuve has not returned.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, sorry, I thought you didn't really.
And Emily Blunt is gone.
Emily
as well.
Blunt isn't in. Yeah, the director this time.
But she may come back for another one. They were saying.
Yeah, I mean, I see. Right, it was directed by a guy called Stefano Salima, who did this brilliant TV show called Sabura, and before he became a director, he was a camera operator for CNN in these like war zones in like Bosnia and so like
that's a really interesting background.
Yeah, and like when you're watching it, like the opening kind of like I would say 5-10 minutes of it is basically setting up the stories, and essentially what's happened is the Mexican cartels, they found evidence to suggest that they're now smuggling terrorists over the U.S. border to get them into the country. And, you know...
Not the Canadian border, the Mexican border.
Mexican border, obviously, yeah. Although I'm sure there are terrorists coming over the Canadian border. I don't know. But anyways, my point is
wanted to build a wall around Cork earlier on before we went down there. Didn't he, producer Dave?
Can we not talk about that on air, please?
Dave was like, how are you going to build a wall? Who's going to build it? Who's going to pay for this wall? See that? This is the stuff people don't see, Dave, isn't it? The kind of insulting behaviour.
Anywho.
So what was the movie like, Brian?
So, thank you, Deirdre. The movie was really interesting because I felt that you kind of, you know, the whole thing about Emily Blunt's character in Sicario was that she was the way in for the audience. Mm-hmm. She was like the moral center of the movie. You know, the idea of like when they're doing like, you know, when they're waterboarding the guy and when they're doing all the crazy
stuff. You were saying it starts with an interrogation, Josh Brolin's character, an interrogation of Somali pirates, and you were saying that's hard going.
It's really hard, but like...
Because the opening of the first one is dead bodies on a wall and an explosion. Yeah. You were like, that, and you were like, this one makes the first one look tame, and I'm like, geez, what did they do?
Yeah, like I don't want to ruin it because I feel like if you see it dry, it's just the impact of it is just whoa kind of thing, and it's done in a very anyways. The scene that I'm talking about with Josh Brolin, it's literally just him and a laptop, and he just opens up the laptop, and then there's something on the laptop, and it's the way that Josh Brolin does that. He is such a good actor, like Summer of Brolin. Yeah, it's happening.
He's awesome.
He's awesome. In this though, he is terrifying. Like, I mean, more terrifying than Thanos, than Cable, than any of the performances he's done. This is like, he is just dead behind the eyes. Like, there is nothing there. Like, and when he does the little thing and he shows the guy the yoke, it's terrifying to think that there are probably people out there who are exactly like that. That's
in that field.
In that field, that are just have no morals, have no scruples. They're just like, and even when...
Just have an end goal, which is protect America.
That's it. And like the guy even says it to him. He's like, you can't do this. You're American. You've got rules. And he's all like, yeah, today I don't have rules. Today I've got orders. And then he like rings.
Oh, I can imagine Josh Brolin saying that in his Josh Brolin voice.
That's an epic line.
I'm in.
Yeah, and like I was like, whoa. And then from there, he goes back to the US, and he's basically told by Matthew Modine, look, we've got to get...
He's like Secretary of State or
he's Secretary of Defense. And he's basically, look, the gloves are off. You've got full permission to do whatever you want. And then from that, he just goes nuts.
Then he brings in Benicio del Toro, and he's like, let's start a war. He's like, what kind of war? He's like, a drug war.
A war on everyone.
A war on everyone.
And that, like, and see, this is it. Like, what I think what made Sicario so interesting was the fact that you saw Emily Blunt at all times going, what is going on here? Why are you doing this? You shouldn't be allowed to do this. There was a restraint to it, which I felt kind of heightened the terrible things that they were doing. This time, there is nobody stopping them. There's nobody telling them, okay, don't do this. They're doing whatever the F they want. And it's not that it doesn't have an impact. It absolutely does. But I think it was more interesting when you had somebody kind of trying to play against it, if you know that kind of way. Yeah. But it's still very well done. It's still very well directed. It doesn't have the same finesse that Villeneuve had.
He's a top tier director.
But he's a top tier, Jesus, like he's just absolutely god tier.
Villeneuve's up there with Fincher now.
Yeah, completely. Yeah. Beyond even. So, yeah, I would love to see Emily Blunt come back for the third one. It is set up for a third one. Yeah. I'd love to see Villeneuve come back. I don't think he will.
No, he's got too much going on. Yeah. But it's interesting because it didn't make that much money at the box office. The first one, it did like 80-something million globally, which is not very much. It costs a huge amount to make. So it probably made its money on digital platforms or whatever is streaming services, maybe even DVDs, Deirdre, maybe
maybe.
Or Blu-ray even, who knows. So it's interesting that they're continuing on making this. It's a brave move.
Yeah.
And it's that kind of material as well that is polarizing because it's so visceral, and the reaction to it seems to be so visceral. So I can't wait to see it. I'm going to go see Dublin Oldschool again over the weekend, I think. But I want to see Sicario too. It's a chock-a-block weekend.
Yeah.
And it's a chock-a-block weekend, and you don't want this one to get lost a little bit.
I don't.
No.
I really, really, really want to foreground this one because I really, really
you went
liked
over and did the junket in London last week.
Yes.
On a Sunday, no less, Deirdre.
On a
Give
Sunday.
up your Sunday to meet Sam Claflin.
But you know why it was on a Sunday? I'd be nearly 100% sure. It's because Shailene Woodley is shooting Big Little Lies Season 2 at the moment. So she flew into the UK for that weekend just to highlight Adrift. And I think that's really kind of admirable of her, that even with, Big Little Lies going on.
She wanted to
exactly,
push the
she
move.
Really wanted to push
I
the
saw a lot of the Sam Claflin fan pages sharing your interview, been like, great interview with Sam.
Oh,
yeah.
That's so good. Well, he was such a great interviewee, as was she. I only really got through about 3 questions with them, to be honest, because they just kind of went with it, and they were like so chatty and so informative and really, really interesting. We ended up not even talking about Big Little Lies because I just wanted to talk about Adrift. I talked to the director as well, whose name is Balthasar Cormacour, which you can look up. Everest. The Deep, the Sea. So he has a lot of sea themed kind of movies. So
you just really into the water.
It's just when you said Contraband, I was like, I remember that film. I saw that film once. It wasn't great. Contraband.
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg came over to Ireland first. To Dublin for it,
But I just think that it's a really great film that's led by these 2 really, really talented,
you really liked it,
young,
you made a point because Gab reviewed this one and he didn't like it.
He didn't like it.
So you really wanted to counter it.
I really, really wanted to counter it because I think that the acting in it is phenomenal. I think the effects look great. I think the story is really powerful and emotional and genuine.
What is the story? So it's
based on a true story.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, about this couple who were engaged that basically got caught in a storm and had to kind of basically fight for their life and get back home. And they were adrift in that their motor or whatever wasn't working. So, Sam Claflin's character is injured, so she has to basically manipulate the sail so that they're drifting in the right direction and so that they actually hit land at the specific point. Otherwise, they will be basically just drifting through the ocean forever. So it was an extremely tough challenge and everything, and it's an amazing story.
It sounds like a great showcase for 2 actors. It's just them on screen for the majority of it, I would assume.
And it's so it's really kind of romantic, and their chemistry is amazing. And I think it'll be a great one for young adult audiences as well, because I think those 2 have been in a lot of YA films. Shailene Woodley would have been in, of course, The Fault in Our Stars, Divergent. Sam Claflin as well. He would have been in Love, Rosie, and Me Before You. So definitely
And
Hunger Games. Yeah. So with the young adult,
no way.
Yeah. He appears from the 2nd or 3rd.
He's one of those guys as well, though, because I know he's obviously a good-looking guy. He's one of those guys that they're just yes. I've met him. He's an attractive man.
But you know what, Shailene Woodley, actually, when I met her, I was like, oh my gosh, you're gorgeous.
She's a movie star.
She's so she's just so striking looking. You don't realize it until you
that's
see her.
That's the kind of thing. It was Rebecca Hall, I think, we've spoken about before, and interviewed her years ago, and she's one of, I think, incredible actors, but she's another one that way.
Yeah, exactly. When you see her, you're like, wow.
But that's why they're so good, because they're chameleons. They're stunning looking, beautiful movie stars, but they're chameleons, so they can kind of play those kind of more normal people as well.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just a really good movie, and go see it.
Go see it. Okay. And check out your interview as well.
Yes.
Check out your interview with the lads and the director. Grant. I'm looking, actually, I don't know if I'll get to that this weekend, but I will watch it.
Please do.
It needs to pop up on a
really
streaming service for me.
Yeah.
It's a busy weekend, Deirdre. It's a busy weekend.
No, it is competing against a lot out there. But like I said, particularly for kind of the younger audiences. And it's such a more genuine movie compared to other ones I've seen, especially those 2 actors, and they can be a bit kind of mushy or something, The Fault in Our Stars and Me Before You, both a bit mushy, but this one's just so genuine, and it has a message that is really quite powerful.
Was The Fault in Our Stars Nicholas Sparks?
No, it was John Green was the guy.
You're right, because he came over here and did interviews for it, didn't he? Because Nicholas Sparks movie, I always say, whoever the first person is to cough in a Nicholas Sparks movie, it's that's game over. The brown bread, just towards the end, and that's going to be the whole thing, and that's going to be the whole.
I don't know if that's even is that even a thing anymore? I think they've done all the books at this point.
They made one with Scott Eastwood. God bless him.
I know the
still
one.
out there trying.
One, yeah.
Scott Eastwood, he's still out there trying. Just like there was basically an image of Scott Eastwood. It was on some.
I do remember. I
there was
can't
an image
remember
of Scott
the name
Eastwood
of it.
that looked like a shoe for like Ralph Lauren. And this image circulated before he ever got a film role. And everybody was kind of like, oh my God, he kind of looks like his dad. And he's gotten like 8 films off the back of that. The guy cannot act. God bless him. Handsome guy. The Joe Rogan's podcast has nothing interesting to say.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, good for him though.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, like...
it might just happen that he'll get that right gig and suddenly be like a superstar.
He's
I
like
just don't know.
He's like a really poor man's Paul Walker. Like it's just not happening at all. I'm sorry. And there's only so far that name's gonna get you. You know, come on now.
Yeah.
He's not Orlando Bloom bad, but he's not far off, lads.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, like, he was definitely the weak link, I thought, in Pacific Rim Uprising. I liked Pacific Rim Uprising.
That's because you're a sap, though. You
You
liked Independence Day.
I like that too. But I'm not going near Pacific Rim. I'm sorry. I'm not even.
Fine.
Okay, what do you have for social wise this week?
Social wise, I don't know. We don't have music for this yet. I don't think so.
Can you sort that out, producer Dave? Can you maybe do a song for us, like Deadpan Dave? It's kind of just like hello. No.
Okay.
Just have Dave go. No. Sorry.
No.
That's just Roy Keane. That's just Roy Keane. Come
But he
on.
sounded like it, though. He sounded like it. He sounded like it there when he said no.
So thanks so much for tweeting into us, guys. If anybody has any comments or insults or whatever, we will read them out at the Filum Show. That's FILUM. So Andy McCarroll tweeted us saying, I know we are technically in competition with them, but I can't recommend this show enough. 3 great, well-informed hosts with interesting takes on movies, new and old. So I thought that was very nice.
Thanks, Andy.
Thanks, Andy.
Yeah.
I seen him at the Robin Black talk there last week.
Oh, yeah.
He's into his MMA as well. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Nice guy, Andy.
Cool. And then we also had one from Owen Murphy who said, thought you guys were a bit hard on Gary Ross on this week's show. He did, after all, write big... He wrote big. Sorry, I was about to say big.
He wrote big letters.
He wrote big. And directed Pleasantville, which was one of the best films of the 90s. Have any of you seen Sicario 2, we just talked about, which will be a welcome relief from all the blockbusters. Although I'd still kind of regard that as a blockbuster. But yeah, this is basically in reference to the fact that we reviewed Ocean's 8 on the show last week, and it was directed by Gary Ross, and we were kind of basically saying that he's quite a vanilla director.
I think, because, I mean, naturally we compared him to Steven Soderbergh.
Yeah.
And Steven Soderbergh's, like, you know, innovative and has flair as a director and an incredible skill set. So, you know, not our fault. He followed up the Steven Soderbergh movie. Yeah. You know, so.
They should have got the guy who did, Gregory Jacobs was his name. He was the guy who directed
Magic Mike 2.
Magic Mike 2. They should have got him to do it. To do Ocean's 8, I thought. I thought that would have been a better kind of choice than Gary Ross.
I just don't know any of his films that kind of
stood out,
but also none that were kind of along the lines of like handling a heist genre movie. You know what I mean? Because there's a particular kind of, like, I think you were saying, like, panache or something was the word you use. Like, there is a particular like sensibility you need to write and direct those kind of movies. And Ocean's 8, I felt just kind of like just missed the mark.
Like, we see that it's like not even Ocean's 8. It's like Logan Lucky was like a hillbilly version, and Soderbergh just did it again. Yeah, with these type of, and you're like, and a painfully underseen film, but it just
so good.
I think you're right. I don't think he was. We don't mean to be mean to Gary Ross. He's by no means a bad director, but I just think it's, you know, it's a bit more plainly obvious when you're following up a franchise like that. That was by no means great, but it kind of, you know, maybe looked at his shortcomings as a director a bit more. I
finished actually watching the trilogy over the weekend. I finished Ocean's 13, and I mean, it's still, they're quite solid movies. I mean, 12 is still the weakest of the bunch.
12 is like,
but 13 was a bit of fun. There was a bit in kind of the middle where it had serious pacing issues. It was just like, get to the end, get to the heist part.
Al Pacino though.
But I mean, in fairness, it happens so often that with those trilogies that the finale is so disappointing, and I think that he did justice to the story, like tonally and everything.
Yeah,
you know,
because he wanted that. Pulled it back a little bit after the second one.
Exactly. Yeah.
What are you doing over the course of an incredibly sunny weekend in Dublin that you're watching the oceans?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I mean, like Christ, what are you doing?
Well, what we did was we watched kind of half an hour a night during the week, and I think it was just like kind of the last 30 to 40 minutes that we watched on Friday, was it?
I mean, I watched The Staircase. I just tried it. I mean, I'm not like, I'm just, you know, it just seems like, well, let's watch the Ocean's 11 trilogy, or whatever you want to call it. Quadrilogy now.
Yeah, It was so nice out. Why would you stay indoors and watch stuff?
I watched it for 30 to 40 minutes at the end of
Unless you're staying indoors and watching this.
And I was
Am I right, Brian?
Hey! Yeah.
You look like one of those minions in that t-shirt.
Really?
You look like a minion. A hairy minion.
If he had
You're
the
like Amish
dungarees,
minion. You're like Amish minion.
I don't say Amish. Like, I'm really worried about the beard. Like, I need to get it trimmed. Anyways. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Deadpan Dave. Appreciate it. Appreciate it a lot, buddy.
I don't know how you're not hotter in that thing.
No, you see, this is it. And when I shaved my head to remove the Arlene Foster look, this kind of helped the cooling temperature.
To be fair, right, the Arlene Foster thing has come up multiple times, and on national radio as well. It was more your hair. Yeah. You let your hair grow out into this mad, giant, clear, balding quiff. And your face just...
it was like, Claire Balding you used to call me, then it became Arlene
Foster. And you're like, just look, Arlene Foster just has his face like she's been going...
And to be fair, I have bitching, do you hear me? Resting bitch face. Yeah. Where it's just like, I look like I'm pissed off.
Actually, when you had the sunglasses on it really emphasised your
What did Chris Green say about you?
Face.
He said that I was a violent dictator in the that the US special envoy wouldn't allow people into entertainment.ie. You'll see it on Twitter. It's Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
Use my picture, no credit. Screw you, Chris Green. My picture of the TV that I took. Okay, T, what you have for us? I'm moving this. One of the 15 pictures I took of Brian on the TV this morning.
Why did you have so many pictures? Like, what the hell?
You were funny.
It was funny, and I was going to ring Brian when he was on live television.
Oh, actually, no. Wait, no. You tweeted me, and it went off when I was on the couch.
Don't say that to me like it's my fault. You're going to do live TV. Fault. You don't have your phone on you.
What if he'd called you and it had buzzed and buzzed and buzzed?
That's exactly what would have happened. I would have had to pick the phone up and like that.
Throw it at Mark Hagney answer that.
Probably, yeah. Here, Mark.
Why did you have your phone on a set, or why did you at least have it on silent?
Because there was no green room because it was outside. Keep up, Deirdre.
Yeah, but why don't you have this thing called airplane mode?
Yeah.
I didn't think of it when I was...
Just go, done.
I didn't think of it when I was going in, okay? There you go, I didn't think
Sorry, okay? Sorry, I know. Sorry, D. Maybe news.
You didn't do your do.
I don't want to do anything now. All right, go on. Do your movie news.
Okay. So made me hyper now. I'm hyper now. Okay.
God.
This is kind of interesting because it ties into a movie we were talking about earlier, Everybody Wants Some, which is great. Yeah. On Netflix, if people haven't seen it.
I can't believe Glenn Powell is 29. You told me that today.
Did you watch the setup on Netflix? So we don't have to
No.
But
I've heard really good things about the setup.
Really sweet kind of conventional romantic comedy. Very good.
Honestly, I just kind of avoid Netflix original movies at this point because they're all shockingly bad.
They're getting there, and I think the only way...
Especially comedies.
Yeah, but I think the only way those type of movies are getting made now is
on Netflix. I know. Yeah. You mean the way bad movies are being getting made?
Medium budget movies that don't necessarily need movie stars, kind of character-driven comedy.
Yeah.
But because Brian, you talked about this as well. The news that you talked about for Midday Minute this week.
I did Midday Minute this week. I was really kind of hoping I got a Joel McHale, Kurt Loder. Kids of the 90s, Kurt Loder is.
Remember when you did your impression of Mike doing the Midday
I know, yeah. And I was going to do one run-through of it in that. I didn't. Okay, never mind.
Couldn't do it as himself. Do you know why he did it? Because I had to produce him. I had to produce Brian on camera and make him better. Did I not help, Brian?
2 takes.
Did I not help you?
2 takes.
Did I help you?
I'll
2 takes.
To help you. We're to help you.
Thank you.
Doing it next week
I'll do it in less than 1. That's how good I'll be.
Then you'd be doing... That doesn't make any sense. Dear Trent.
Let's get to this Glenn Powell story.
Okay, Glenn Powell, Miles Teller, and Nicholas Hoult are up for a major role. You called it major, so I'm quoting you. Major role in Top Gun Maverick, which is the highly anticipated sequel to Top Gun. So they'd be up for the role of Goose's son, and given the movie will focus on the relationship between Maverick and Goose's son, there's going to be loads of intense, Goose's son blaming Maverick for his father's death and all of that jazz. So Miles Teller would probably be best known for Whiplash. He also starred in Only the Brave, which is actually the director for Top Gun Maverick, Joseph Kosinski's last directing credit. So that looks pretty good for him.
That's why he's part of that final three.
Yeah. Glenn Powell, who'd be known for The Setup and Everybody Wants Some, and then Nicholas Hoult would be known for Mad Max, Fury Road, and X-Men First Class. So
I like Nicholas Hoult a lot. I love About a Boy, and it's great to see him kind of evolve. I love that movie. It's great to see him evolve into like a proper decent actor.
Actor.
But he's the wrong casting for this. And so is Miles Teller. Like, that should be Glenn Powell, 100%.
Yeah, it should be. I mean, he looks like Anthony Edwards. Like, Anthony Edwards...
He's more chiseled, like...
Yeah, I know he's more chiseled.
Movie star like Anthony Edwards.
Isn't the whole point of Goose that he's kind of geeky?
Yeah, but like,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, but like, I mean, it was Meg Ryan was his on-screen mother, and like
that's a good point.
She's got that Meg Ryan genetics, those movie star genetics.
Blonde, kind of beautiful, kind of no, it should be Glenn Powell.
I tell you what, you ever see Zac Efron on the Graham Norton show with Tom Cruise, and he's like love heart emoji eyes to him. Really? I'd say Zac Efron would punch a toddler in the face to get that role.
Oh my
and he's
God.
not even in the final three. Like,
well, like he wouldn't. Like, I mean, if they were going to do,
Efron's like,
but if they were going to do like Maverick's son, absolutely, 100%, it should be Zac Efron. Like, he's got that like chiseled jaw,
and he's only about 5'7".
And he's only about 5 foot nothing, exactly. Yeah. I'm like, I've said this many times. I love Top Gun, and I love it completely unironically. Yeah. I love it. Like,
that's right, Dice. I am dangerous.
It's just like it's. Oh, anyways, but I think Joseph Kosinski was the perfect choice to do it. Like, if you go back and watch Only the Brave, it was basically Top Gun but with firefighters. So. Yeah, he's got this.
I would have preferred Doug Liman, but like I'm open to it.
Yeah.
Oh, Doug Liman's great. Yeah, he directed Tom Cruise actually in American Made, which really didn't kind of turn any heads at all.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Really
good.
Really
good. Yeah.
Really good.
Well, Edge of Tomorrow, I think, has like a really big popular following. But like American Made kind of came and went in cinemas, and I was really disappointed because I was like, but it's really good.
Tom Cruise's two best movies of the last decade, I want to say, have been Doug Liman movies.
Doug Liman, Tom Cruise is a really good combination.
Yeah. Chris McQuarrie too, kind of, sort of. We'll see.
Yeah,
definitely.
That's true.
What else you got for us, Deirdre?
Yes, so Nicolas Cage, you know how I love my trailer news, so I saw the trailer for Mandy yesterday, and Nicolas Cage has never been crazier. So if you love crazy Nicolas Cage, this is the movie for you. So it's kind of like art house, really. It was shown at Sundance and it did really well. It got great reviews. People were saying that it's the performance of Nicolas Cage's career. Story-wise, it follows this couple, I don't think they're married, called Red and Mandy, who's
Are they living in sin?
With the safety pin.
Well, actually, that's kind of part of it, that they are living in sin.
Oh, okay.
Because they're living in the woods, and then a satanic cult and its maniacal leader come after them.
So, and Nicolas Cage hasn't played a satanic cult leader?
No.
Although, I mean, to be fair...
It's Linus Roach.
Oh, he's an Irish actor.
Linus Roach?
He's Irish, no.
I haven't.
Sounds Irish. I just took a swing at it.
I didn't look up his IMDb, to be honest, before the show.
And you're giving me stick for fact checking, like you need to fact check me. No, I tell you, right, I am really, really, really looking forward to this.
Yes.
Like,
did you see who else is in? Bill Duke.
Bill Duke, who we're going to be talking about in the revisit. We're going to be talking about Predator. Bill Duke.
Did you see the exchange they had in it? Okay, so there's this awesome line where whatchamacallit, Nick Cage's character.
Linus Roach is from Manchester, sorry. My bad. Anyway,
anyway. But Nicolas Cage's character says to Bill Duke's that he's going hunting, and then Duke says, "So what you hunting?" And he says, "Crazy evil," in his like Nicolas Cage way, and it's like, oh, amazing. And by the end of the trailer, they're like wielding like machetes and chainsaws, and it's just, it's mad. And like Nicolas Cage is just covered in blood, and it just looks insane, and I can't wait.
I can't wait.
But the only thing is, I don't know unless Lighthouse does it.
I know Lighthouse will do it.
Yeah.
I saw Lighthouse tweeting about it already and stuff.
Oh, well, that's a good sign. Okay, because it's like kind of, it is like I said, art house, and it's like a small kind of distributor and stuff. Otherwise, it'll be on VOD from September 14th.
Mental Nicolas Cage films. Loved them.
I love them. Like Vampire's Kiss.
He's a great interview as well, Nicolas Cage.
I have tried at least 3 times to get him in or get him on the phone for a podcast or just an interview or just to talk to him.
Yeah, why would he talk to you though?
Well, like,
I mean, no, I'm not being that. I don't mean that to sound as derogatory as it did. No. I just mean like, he's like, he doesn't seem to do a whole lot of that. So I saw him, like, I interviewed him for G-Force in New York.
I was about to say, it was the Gerbil movie, wasn't it?
And he was like, I don't want to play a hamster. I don't have any connection with a hamster. I think he plays it like a mole. He goes, I was like, yeah, there's a bit of a darkness there. And he was like, yeah, there's a bit of a... And then he had this grin. I always say to everybody, asked me what he was like. He completely was taking a piss.
Of course.
And then had this grin on his face after he talked. I was like, this whole thing.
Oh, no, he knows.
He knows exactly what he's doing, and it's brilliant. I'm all in.
And that's it. And I'd say, to be honest, not to be tooting my own horn, but I think the reason why he wouldn't talk to me was because I think he knows himself what he's doing. He knows what he's doing in the sense of, like, if he gives an interview, a long, lengthy interview, he's given the game away.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of way.
Yeah, that's true.
And like, it's that thing that actors always say, it's better to just be an actor and do acting than talk about it, you know, that kind of way. Because like the minute you start talking about it, the mystery of it is gone. And I think Nicolas Cage is one of the few actors left who really has mystique about him. And I say mystique, I mean it in the sense of like, you're kind of thinking like, what actually is going through his brain?
Because he's so crazy.
Because he's so nuts. Like, what is he actually thinking that he is doing this film? Like, you know, that kind of way. And I love that. Like, even the crap stuff, even the stuff like Left Behind, or that thing, USS Indianapolis, Mendocor.
You know, he makes so many of his movies in New Orleans now because that's where he's living. He's like, look, that's where he lives. And he's like, look, if you want to be in your movie, film it here and I'll do it. But you know, when
wouldn't that be amazing?
But
if
he
got
lost
to that stage.
He lost the actual plot in a restaurant once, apparently, right? And this is where this kind of Nicolas Cage conspiracy theory could feed in, because he lost his marbles in this restaurant, and look it up, it's hilarious, right? And the editor of GQ, or one of the contributing editors of GQ, was in the restaurant.
Oh, wow.
And wrote it up in an incredibly articulate GQ way.
Yeah.
And I don't want to quote it verbatim, but it involves Nicolas Cage losing the plot, pointing at one girl saying she's a contender, pointing at another one saying she's not, in a very Nicolas Cage way. Look it up. But that could all feed into this. Is this all like a
Is this all performance art?
No
like,
idea,
yeah.
You wouldn't know. You'll never know.
We're not supposed
and I want
to.
it that
Well,
way.
I don't want to know.
Yeah.
I don't want to know. I want him out there being crazy and nuts and like pouring black paint over himself and be like, ah!
Do you reckon anybody's ever walked up to John Travolta and went, face off? No. No, just me. I get booed by my producer. That was a perfectly fine face-off kind of throwback.
Yeah.
And just like, whatever, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Poor old John Travolta. Anyway, my third item.
Moved on there super quickly.
All right, Deke.
No, because we were talking about Gotti last week and just.
Poor John.
Yeah.
Poor old John, what?
Anyway. Sounds like Nicholas Sparks movie. Poor John.
You might be onto something there.
Yeah, and then someone like comes in and like revitalizes his life.
Yeah. Makes his hair magically grow back. I've only heard he's an incredibly nice man as well. I've only heard amazingly nice things. So he's supposed to be a lovely man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he was just in that, like, you know, gym in the middle of the night talking to that guy for no other reason that he was a really nice guy.
Okay. Let's move on, D.
He was just in that gym just because like he wanted to talk to that guy in the middle of the night.
So Leonardo DiCaprio has shared a first look image from Tarantino's new movie. Everyone's probably seen this thing on social media by now. I actually saw someone liken the way Leonardo DiCaprio is dressed up to that character Mindhorn. Remember?
Yeah.
And he looks so like him that it was actually quite funny. So yeah, they're dressed in kind of 60s to 70s attire. Pitt's all in double denim and
pulls it off as well.
Damn you, Brad.
53 or something.
Look, these are two beautiful, beautiful actors that we're talking about. They can pull off a like tutu.
Are they though, right? Because
yes, they are.
No.
Yes, they are.
Hear me out, Deirdre.
No.
Hear me out. Totally, right? They're totally movie stars. Leonardo DiCaprio, don't get me wrong, but anybody standing next to Brad Pitt, like Brad Pitt's like, he's Brad Pitt.
They're both beautiful. Okay. Don't pit them against one another. We're getting them both in one movie. Don't ruin this for me, Mike.
Like, look, anyone could stand next to Brad Pitt and look like a burn victim, okay? He's that good looking. Like, literally, you would look like a burn victim next to him.
Or like an Amish, like Arlene Foster.
Whatever. Yeah. Is
Timothy Olyphant doing the lead in that, actually? Has he been confirmed to be the lead?
Not yet, I don't think.
He's in it, but I don't know. There's no kind of confirmation on leads or anything. I mean, this is a Tarantino film. Like, are there leads in a Tarantino movie?
Yeah, it's more of an ensemble piece.
Yeah, exactly.
That John Travolta gif is just like...
Yeah.
You're walking around.
Who's the lead in this movie?
We've got the green screen. We can actually put that in.
Are we looking forward to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
I am, definitely. But I'm more excited about the idea of Quentin Tarantino doing a Star Trek movie. I mean, don't get me wrong. I really want to see this. Obviously, I want to see this. But I really want to see Quentin Tarantino do a Star Trek movie. How is that going to work?
Excuse me while I don't care.
Yeah, I'm not really feeling the Star Trek.
J.J. Abrams going to do a Star Trek movie. Yeah, it's like he did. He's going to do Star Wars. Yeah.
I almost called it the Star Wars movie.
Yeah, whatever. Like, they're interchangeable. Let's be honest here. They're interchangeable. You Star Wars fan, producer Dave?
I've seen them.
There you go.
That's how
like
I feel like
people.
seeing them.
Like most people.
Yeah.
But they might be bringing the show back. Picard might be come on back. When you see that? Excited about that as well.
I'm very excited about that.
I'd say,
I'm so excited about that. I'm really excited. I was like, wow.
I am excited to see that though, D, because the cast.
The cast looks incredible. Yeah, completely.
Not as excited to see what it's going to be like on the red carpet when people are awkwardly asked about Harvey Weinstein and some of the stuff that Tarantino's come out with over the past few years, because that invariably is what happens.
Oh God, yeah.
But I'm excited to see the movie. Okay, to revisit this week.
Yes.
You actually haven't phoned it in this week. No. You made a choice.
No, I made a choice. Well, I tell you, I made a choice thinking that Dee would talk about the new trailer for The Predator.
We talked about it a couple of weeks ago.
No, but there was a new one though. There's an even newer one, and they brought out a new poster. I'm just saying, like,
when I talk about trailers, I tend to talk about like the first trailer.
Okay, well there was.
But I mean, with all our talk of kind of Shane Black and recent
sure
weeks,
enough,
I thought it made sense.
Of course, yeah, completely. Right, so Predator. I think Predator is one of the most interesting films when it comes to the idea of, I don't want to say masculinity, but like the idea of like, you know, you have these like ridiculously strong men. You've got like Jesse the Body Ventura. You've got like, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Carl Weathers, built like tanks, right? Carrying, like literally Jesse Body Ventura has a big huge machine gun called Old Painless that he fires off in the middle of a jungle, right? And yet they are all completely useless against the Predator. It's the idea of like that they can be completely outsmarted, that you can have all the brawn in the world, but like if you've got the cunning and if you've got that kind of, you know, just the cunning, you can outsmart anybody,
that
you know?
Cunning intergalactic being.
Yeah, okay, fine, like he's able to like, you know, shapeshift and he's got like the weird eyes and he can do the heat vision thing, but it's still really interesting that, you know, this was done in the 80s when, you know, literally it was the height of the macho superhero, like, and yet you had them all getting.
Keep saying macho.
You know what I mean? Like, but you had them all getting kind of. I want to be a macho. But it's a really good song.
Tis.
Yeah, great track.
Yeah,
like,
when he's right. You know,
good track. But yeah, like there's so many stories about Predator. In fact, I did an article, you know, useless trivia about Predator, if you want to check it out. But yeah, like there's so many like really interesting stories about it. The one thing I would say is Shane Black, our good pal Shane Black, who we can't seem to stop talking about on this podcast. He was brought down by John McTiernan to do rewrites, and when he got there, apparently Shane Black read the script and he was like, "Look, this is a great script. You don't need me to write this at all. I'll just take this little credit here. I'll just like be in your, you know, movie or whatever, but like you don't need me to do any rewrites in this because it's pretty good the way it is." And that's exactly what happened. And in fact, when Shane Black was on the set of Predator, I think he wrote Last Boy Scout, I think it was.
Really underrated movie
with Bruce Willis, and like
Damon
that was
Wayans.
Yeah, and that was the first. He was the first screenwriter to get $1 million for The Last Boy Scout as well. There you are, a little bit of trivia.
I think he got more than that.
It was like the highest. I'm nearly sure it was $1 million, but it was some sort of thing. It was like the highest amount that had ever been paid for a script.
And he was super young as well.
He was really young. I think it is one of those movies that it is very much of its time. It is very much about the 80s. It is very much about like the idea.
You say that about the movie every week.
But it's true though. Like it's definitely true.
It is very 80s.
I thought Arnold Schwarzenegger was fantastic in it. Stick around, like when you just
stick around.
Come on, that's brilliant. Like,
apparently he ad-libbed that. He claims to have ad-libbed
I don't believe that for a second. He did not ad-lib that.
Excuse my friend, he's dead tired. Come on, though.
Let off some steam.
You ugly mother.
But like that's it. Like, there's so many good lines in it. Like, I don't think for a second.
So quotable.
Oh God, completely. Yeah. Like, you know, I ain't got time to bleed. You know, like
you son of a.
My favorite bit though is the chopper ride with Long Tall Sally when they're playing the music that bit is so good, and he's passing around the chewing tobacco, and he's like, "This stuff will make you a goddamn sexual tyrannosaurus, just like me." Yeah, it's brilliant. It's so funny, and like I'm not going to repeat any of Shane Black's jokes in it, but I think they're kind of funny. You know where he keeps calling over Billy.
Yeah,
and he goes, "Billy, you know, I told my girlfriend, you know, that I wanted." I'm not going to do it, but
you kind of started it, so
I can't. Like it's not really nice. But it's a really funny movie. It's very, very funny. It's like I think of it in Commando in the same way that like just with the slightest bit of editing, it could be a hilarious action comedy. And that's kind of gas to think about.
Okay, so just to be on the point, we were both right about the Shane Black thing.
Yeah.
So this is just IMDb. Great show from D. Maybe leave IMDb open, Mike, so we can look this stuff up as we go along.
I'm practical.
With this film, Shane Black became the first writer to sell a spec script for $1 million.
There you go.
According to Time magazine, he was originally offered $2.25 million by Carlico Pictures, but decided to go with Warner Brothers for the lower, but record-setting bid of $1.75 million so that he could work with Joel Silver, who had produced a Little Weapon with him. So he's, there was offered one, but he actually took like whatever.
Yeah. Well, Joel Silver was kind of legendary, so I suppose it was to kind of get the chance to work
and Last
with
Boy
him.
Scout, like Joe Hellenbach, it's like Tony Scott. It's a Tony Scott movie. It's it was kind of supposed to be that launching pad for Damon Wayans. That never quite happened for him, but just really fun movie.
Really
very
fun.
Tony Scott, peak early 90s Tony Scott.
Everything looks like really like done like with like blinds with light coming in. And
Friday night's a great night for football. Tune.
But good to go back to Predator. Yeah, I think it's a really fun movie. I think it has held up very, very well. There are so many kind of moments in it that have just become a part of pop culture.
Yeah, iconic. Yeah.
Van Damme wasn't Van Damme.
Van Damme was the original Predator.
That's true.
And then he just because he couldn't see his face and because he couldn't do any of his karate, he left.
To do a Coors Light ad,
which
where it ended up.
But I hope the reason why I wanted to mention it was because I hope with the Predator that it will still have that same sense of humor that the original had.
And you're not gonna have a better person to make that
Shane
film
Black.
than Shane Black.
Come on,
come
Fred
on.
Decker, Monster Squad, Monster Squad. Like, come on, So yeah, I love it. I love Predator.
But I mean, in fairness, it does sound like the Predator is going back to all of those original things that you mentioned, because I do think that whole setup of all the guys together just like being manly and kind of outsmarting one another and kind of that slight competitive but mostly just kind of buddy nature. I think that will be, I hope, from what I've seen and what I've read, that's going to be incorporated into the Predator as well, and that they are kind of trying to maintain that sense of humor with that guy. What's his name?
Boyd
Something
Holbrook?
Of Key and Peele.
Oh yeah, Keegan-Michael Key.
Yeah.
He's great.
He's been talking a lot about how he was kind of asked for like advice and for jokes here and there. So hopefully with his contribution as well, because Key and Peele is meant to be a great show, that there'll be that humor
he
kind of
needs
incorporated.
To calm down a little bit though. He's very
Keegan-Michael Key.
Yeah, he's just like, what was that show he did with the friends from college? Ruined it for me.
Friends from
college.
Friends from college. Oh yeah.
He was just a Netflix show. He's just calm down. You don't need to be so highly strung all the time. Keenan Michael Peele.
I didn't see it, so I wouldn't know. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
What's his name? I won't call him Keenan.
Keegan-Michael Key.
Keegan-Michael Key. Jordan Peele directed.
Jordan Peele was Get Out.
Yeah, he's the talented one.
But in
I
fairness,
know about that. That's not fair. That's not fair.
He's the more talented one. He won an Oscar.
Like, won an Oscar.
But I mean, there are varying degrees.
Don't go all defensive for Keenan.
Keegan.
Whatever.
Christ.
But in fairness, what it sounds like with this is that like Shane Black kind of went to Keegan as opposed to like letting Keegan kind of roam free, like, be free.
I would love to know what role Conor McGregor was going to get.
We spoke about that before.
Yeah, we have. I'd love to know.
I might see him on Saturday. On Roddy's Lawn is opening his new gym on Saturday, so he might be there.
Get us an exclusive there, will you?
Yeah, there you go.
Exclusive there.
Get us an actual exclusive where
Don't
no one
go
else
on
has
another
this
rant.
story.
No more rants.
Do you want to do your point at the camera
No,
thing
I
again,
don't.
because it's going to be your YouTube?
Look, you have to adjust the volume again.
I just did that. Yeah.
Producer Dave was like rushing there. To,
sorry.
Speaking of which, I spoken to Simon Delaney. So Simon Delaney's going to be doing the show. He's going to be doing the Delph. We're going to do an interview with Simon.
Okay.
He's doing the Snapper.
You're saying your sister's working on the Snapper.
It's meant to be a great production.
Yeah, I heard
actually.
it's brilliant.
I can't wait to see it.
So I'm going to talk to him about that. But he did say on the email, he was like, I'm not calling Patrick Wilson though. Maybe. I was like, don't tease me with that, Simon. Don't tease me with that. So can we get a little ditty down the line from Patrick Wilson?
I would just like a little bar of Loving You from the Sondheim musical Passion. I just loving you is not a choice.
It's not bars.
I just want to hear that bit. If I could do a duet, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Okay.
We might get a WhatsApp voice note. I'd say might be the best we
that'd
can
be
hope.
nice.
That would be the best.
Yeah.
Hey, do you know what? We should get him to do an ident for the film show. That's what we should do.
Just him going, Filum? That's not a word.
I'd like that.
Yeah,
that would be good.
That's true. We could add that then to the list of famous people we have talking about
Us.
the show and
films.
Inadvertently, really. Let's be honest, they didn't know they were at the time, but they still mentioned it.
Yeah,
Keanu Reeves and Hugh Jackman still said it.
Yeah.
So it's in the intro to the show, whatever.
Yeah. And like Keanu Reeves just said it to me, just sort of like entertainment.ie, and I was like, oh, okay, you're saying it.
Yeah.
Sure, Keanu Reeves, whatever.
Keanu Reeves can say what he wants.
Oh, he can. He can say whatever he wants.
That
got weirdly sexual, didn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, God, sorry.
I think we know what clip we're using this week, Mike.
Oh, crap.
What the Jesus, like?
I don't know.
Where does your head go?
I had like 3 hours sleep last night. The heat is killing me.
I was about to say, you're like when I get hyper.
Yeah, I get delirious. Like, yeah. Wrap it up there, yeah. Come on.
He hosts the show. Stop.
That's what I'm saying. Wrap it up. I'm knackered. I've got to do the last word after this. I'm so tired.
Oh, you have to go on your national radio then now, do you? Or whatever, like.
First TV and then
no
this,
radio.
no radio.
You're going to wear your sunglasses on the radio?
Maybe I will, all right? Maybe I will.
Are you going to remember to put your phone on silent?
Yes, Deirdre.
Ring him.
Jesus.
What time you on at? Ring him.
Please don't ring. Please don't ring. Please don't ring. Please don't ring. Because I have to read my notes off the thing when I'm in the...
Write them down like Dee does. Or have them on a...
I don't like wasting the paper, if I'm honest, actually.
Excuse me.
I'm just saying.
Anyway, wrap it up there. Shout out to Charlotte Reid for the always awesome production. Shout out to producer Dave for booing me while I did my class dad joke earlier on. Don't even have any kids. Still booed me. Whatever. Boo.
That'll happen.
What have we got next week?
Mary Shelley in the First Purge.
Thank you. I'm really sorry. I knew that. I did know that.
No,
I did know that.
I
did.
And before we go, I did put a tweet out there about doing a live show. We've been talking about doing a live show for a while. So I think we'll get on that, and I think we'll talk to Eilish, the marketing person, maybe about getting a live show going. Maybe I think the Sugar Club would be perfect.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
Lounge in Kiln, we can do a live show and we can do a revisit, and then we'll show the film afterwards. So I think we'll get on that. So let us know if it'd be something you'd be interested. Is that something you'd be interested in? I think of Martin Landau and Entourage.
Entourage, yeah.
Is that something you might be interested in?
Let us know if you're up for it. We would love to do a live show and have a bit of crack.
Yeah,
I meet some of the people that do tweeters and stuff all the time.
That would be cool.
Speaking of which, at the Filum Show, like and subscribe. If you're on YouTube, like, subscribe. If you're on iTunes, review. You know, if it's a positive review. If not, just like...
Shut up
and go away.
Shut up.
And go away. Cracking films this week, folks. Enjoy.